and just fascinated that he was able to produce the kind of professional looking artwork above your head, Chuck.
Oh yeah.
Freehand. And so I always knew that that was what I wanted to do when I grew up. And so it was interesting to have that kind of a relationship with him as an adult, where we were actually like peers. And he would ask me, what was I creating? What have I done lately? And like, so I could share my career with him. And unfortunately, I had long since graduated by the time he became a professor at Moore, which is where I went to school. But yeah, just I've always loved typography, and creating logos is my favorite thing to do, because I feel like Daddy's with me whenever I do things like that. And so yeah, that's my main thing. And then just how much he loved family. You know, family was very, very important to him, and I see obviously that we have all inherited that. And I think you're right. He would be so happy to see that we're doing this. I know, you know, we're recording this for Scott and Eric and Judy, and I hope they see how much Daddy affected so many people. Like his family was just very vast, and little bit of Daddy in all of us.
Yeah, whenever Marty or Dad would call, he would always ask about every person, every kid, every grandkid. He knew all their names. He knew their ages.
Yes,
he
and
knew
their birthdays.
who they belonged to.
His memory was phenomenal up
unbelievable.
until the day he passed. Phenomenal memory. You know?
So even though we're only 4 minutes apart, somehow the door just shut. but I have to say, listening to everyone and having had time to reflect, I think one of the things I did get from Daddy was a love of new things. Like, he had so many varied interests, and that I feel like, you know, comes from somewhere, and I feel like that comes from him. It's like, you look at his personal life, and it's like, he was not a classical musician, but yet he instilled that love to us. He was not a professional athlete, but he instilled that interest in just being active. So many interests. He loved life, and he loved sharing his interests with others. And yeah, anytime you were within 5 feet of him, you received an amazing story.
Again.
And I mean, even in his late 80s, I mean, I learned new things about him every day that I ever was with him. Never knew that Sammy Davis Jr. was one of his favorite artists, and the whole story behind Sammy Davis Jr. And he just had a wealth of history and culture and stories, and I do feel like, you know, that made its way into me somehow. And just appreciate hearing everybody else's recollections and stories.
All right, who here likes to bowl?
Don't
Who
you
here's
wanna be a good
traumatized
bowler?
by bowling?
We got that from Daddy.
Sherry, don't you want to be a good bowler?
Yeah, he would tell me all to do this and do that and do this, and I would try. It was just too much to think about. And one day he said, "Sherry, don't you want to be a good bowler?" And that's like
And we still joke about that till this day.
Daddy did bowl, right?
Oh,
I mean,
yeah. Oh, my goodness. Yeah. Oh,
was in
yeah.
a bowling league.
He bowled, he golfed,
He bowled into his 90s.
yeah, he was excellent in basketball, of course, but
Yep.
yeah.
My kids love to
Golf
play
and
basketball.
golf. of course.
And jogging and running and
running.
yeah. Calisthenics. I strive to do his. I remember him saying that he did his calisthenics every day when he got out of bed. So,
Or even before he got out
Yeah,
of bed.
before he
he'd
got
do
out of
something.
bed. Yeah.
oh, I don't do it.
And then the crossword puzzle.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And
He had
orange
to keep
juice
his
and
mind
cereal.
sharp.
Mhm.
Oh, and it worked.
Yeah.
Tony, I'm sure you have something to say.
About the orange juice?
What? The orange juice?
Because he took his glass.
Oh,
he
my
was very
gosh.
rigid.
Tell him.
Very rigid in his routines. Definitely, yeah, go ahead.
He took his glass?
Yeah, she took his glass into the bedroom.
And he
He couldn't
swore
let that.
somebody. Where was it? Where was it? Where was it?
He was good guy. He was telling Judy it was her fault.
All right, who here likes ice cream?
Oh gosh.
Oh, we all got that from Daddy.
Yeah, that's why we're having the dessert. Right?
Yeah, we're having an ice cream, make your own ice cream sundaes later in honor of Daddy.
Every night.
Yep.
And
Every
you are
day.
not obliged to put pineapple or cantaloupe with it.
No.
Because none of us inherited that.
Cantaloupe and chocolate ice cream.
Does anybody else want to talk about any characteristic you have you think you got from Daddy, or just start telling any funny stories or anything? Go ahead.
Simple, but I got into finance because of Grandpa.
Oh yeah.
That was the great shift away from music for me, because he would always talk about the shares of stock that he purchased when he was a younger man. And you know, later as I got into finance, I did learn that he didn't really know much about finance. He was very enthusiastic about it, and he would always ask me about Vanguard every time I would see him and talk to him and stuff. It was that was definitely an influence for me.
That's awesome. Yeah. I didn't know that.
And tell him the appetizers you brought.
Oh, I made, if you didn't see in there, I made one of his favorite snacks, which is a pickle, like a chopped up pickled herring snack. I know I won't be offended if you don't try it.
Stevie, it's really
I
good.
do encourage you
It
to
doesn't
try
taste exactly like his, but it is really good. You did a good job.
All
mean,
of us are a little bit Ashkenazi Jew.
Cheers, yeah.
Some more than others, and they're very Ashkenazi snacks that I made.
All right. I'm definitely gonna try it. Yeah. Yeah. We definitely grew up going to synagogue on the High Holy Days, and we'd meet all our Philly cousins there, and we'd sit through it, and it was sometimes boring, and sometimes a little smelly on the fasting days. But we saw our cousins, and there was always a children's service too. And speaking of cousins, cousins were invited. A lot of them really wished that they could come, but had no way of getting here or had a prior commitment. Cousin Debbie, that was his sister Minnie's daughter, she had a story she wanted to share, and she said when she moved into her apartment by herself, Daddy came over and he hung every single picture that she had on the walls for her. He did that arrangement for her, and she wanted to share that with everybody.
He was one of 8 children?
I believe so.
Yes.
If you want to know the real history of him, there's a book on the back there that Adam, when he was in grade school, had to do a project on his 4 grandparents. And there's 2 pages in there of information about Daddy and his brothers and sisters and stuff like that. It's open to those pages, so feel free to read it, unless you want to read it out loud.
And Sherry, you have this poster over here.
Marty's history, yeah, that Barbara, did you make that? I don't know, somebody made it, Phil. One of us made that when he turned either 85 or 90.
Yeah, no, I think
Okay.
Well, I was thinking I should start by saying Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, because, like Sherry said, we grew up going to synagogue, and I had a distinct memory of sitting in the service during Yom Kippur, and everybody's speaking Hebrew, and the thought came into my mind, like, if God is the God of everybody, why can't I understand him? And I just kind of put a pin in it. But years later, that is one of the reasons I wanted to become a Wycliffe Bible translator missionary, because I know what it's like to not understand God. And how can God be my God if he doesn't speak my language? And so that was very pivotal to me, and I didn't realize it at the time, but years later I did.
You want to talk about the trip to Philly?
Oh, that was fun. I think that I really loved hearing Grandpa just tell stories about all the different experiences he had, because I feel like he just did so much cool stuff throughout the entirety of his life. Like, whether it was like talking about like how he like had dinner with like the general or someone like that when he was stationed in Germany,
Oh, God.
which was pretty cool. And yeah, one time we went to South Philly together, and like he walked us around like Queen Village, like where his house in South Philly on I forget what street it is. Monroe.
Street?
Yeah, Monroe.
Yeah.
And yeah, I like just love hearing him talk about like
Oh, the
people he-
bathhouses. Remember he shared
yeah,
us?
the bathhouses.
Oh,
like,
he took a
old
tour,
apartment buildings and
and it was
Philly,
a
yeah.
school, and it turned. Yeah, that was.
old buildings that used to
yeah.
be synagogues, all of that kind of stuff.
And jumping the roofs. Remember he showed you
Yeah.
the street where he would like jump the roofs, or he was
Yeah.
he was crazy telling.
Can you talk about like when he would like sneak out of school and like go see concerts at places on like Market Street, like all his favorite artists were in the town, and he would like just like always be doing so many cool things. So I definitely admired like whether it's that stuff or even just the fact that he was interested in like doing like yo-yo or like marbles and stuff like that. Like seeing someone who was like someone that was older than me when I was like a kid, like still being interested in that stuff, that made me like, I definitely admired that he was interested in all those things throughout the entirety of his life. So
Yeah.
that was really cool.
That reminds me of his interest in magic.
Oh yeah.
And I forgot about that.
That's
Yeah, where's
Marty.
Danny? Danny's
Yeah,
got to talk
and
about that.
so Danny had a stint as a magician for a while there, and managed to impress Grandpa.
Yeah, I remember that.
Well, I'm glad Lisa came because I want everybody who, when they were 13,
Oh yeah,
Daddy would take them and do something with them for the whole day. He would spend the whole day with his 13-year-old grandchildren. And unfortunately, Ryan ruined it for everyone after him because he didn't really want to do anything they wanted to do. And he just wanted to go to the mall and go to the movies. And it just wasn't what Daddy and Judy wanted for their grandchildren, that experience. But I'm sure the rest of you have cool experiences like that.
Anybody else going to talk about Uncle Tim?
Oh, Uncle Tip.
Yeah, well, I've known Marty for quite a while. And he was very accepting. He accepted me, kid from Philadelphia. And he was very proud of his Jewish heritage. And just a funny story, well, to me it was funny. No, not really funny, it was an experience. He decided to take me to the Spitz. The Spitz. You know what that is? It's a men's, you go into, it was on Camac Street in Philadelphia. And it's you go there and you swim, you go in a steam bath, and then he said you should have a Spitz. I said, yeah, okay. So I had to lay on this concrete table, and all of a sudden this gigantic man comes out carrying these branches.
Yes, that's right. That's
And I'm
right.
saying, no, that's not too bad. And then he started hitting me with the branches. I'm thinking to myself, this really, how can Jewish people think this is fun? You know, so, but other than that, getting beat the crap out of me. He was he was a genuine person. You knew Marty. He would, if you talked to him, he was very genuine, kind, a true gentleman, and he just loved everyone.
He did.
That makes me remember too, also that Jewish people like to suffer.
Oh, yeah.
So I think that's part of it. So they're very proud of their suffering, though. Lots of martyrs, lots of.
Yeah, but it was truly an honor to know him, and I was kind of sad when he moved away.
Aw, thanks, Uncle Chip. Thank you.
Just a quickie from our friends Rich and Annalie. They got to know him fairly well because they live so close to each other in Florida. And Annalie said, please say a prayer today from them for Marty. So God bless you, Dad, and thank you for everything. From Rich and Annalie and all of us too. Anybody have anything else they like admire about him, or any other funny stories, or anything that
Aunt Bobby.
impressed you about him?
Aunt Bobby.
Aunt Bobby did.
I had So many things.
Alrighty.
I probably go back further than anybody with Marty. Marty and I shared so much. And, he taught me a lot. So many things that I couldn't even repeat one that was more important than the other. And everything he's ever taught me. What I needed to know. And what I needed to know about the family, how to get along with the family, what was important. And to Marty, the family was important. He cherished everything. When the children were born, his children, when his children were born, he was so happy, so proud, and made sure you knew that he did feel this way. Ran to the hospital, told us everything, every least little thing about each one of them. And all that he was so proud of. And throughout their growing up, he always talked about them. Because they were part of him. And they picked up on everything good about him. And they still do. So if you ever want to know anything, just sit and be quiet and think. And his thoughts will come to you. Because he would love that. He would love this. He would love everything that he ever stood for is being remembered. And I am very, very happy that I was part of his life.
Thank you. That was really good.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That was
special. Well, here we are, you know, the kids that are left, the grandkids that are left, and what can we do? Try and do some of the same things. Try and tell each other how proud we are of each other, which we're proud of our kids and grandkids and everybody. Try and, you know, keep family important. Have more get-togethers.
And whenever he ate something that he liked, he had to sneeze.
Yes, yes. Well, I wouldn't be here without Daddy. He literally saved my life. When we were 11, we went out west and we spent some time with our cousins and our aunts and uncles that we hadn't met before. And we went to a large pool with our aunt and uncle and cousins, and I couldn't swim, so I was holding on to the rope that divides the shallow end from the deep end, and it came off from the side of the pool and started floating out into the deep end. And Harry and Sherry thought this was hysterical. But Daddy was astute enough to realize, oh, Barbara's drowning. And he jumped in and saved me. But we don't swim either. So, well, but so you thought it was funny that I was drifting out to sea. But we couldn't save you. No, you couldn't. We couldn't.
Can I just say one thing?
Sure.
I just want to say that anytime I spend time with them, just the banter that the grandma and grandpa Snyder had together was just so wonderful and refreshing, and the way they would argue about who's driving, and I just loved it. And just, you know, grandpa told me a bunch of stories, the same about the Russian bathhouses, about how his grandfather ran alcohol during Prohibition, and just, you know, what he did, how he took Eric and Scott in and adopted them, and just the wonderful family man that he was. But, you know, of all the memories, just watching him and Grandma interact together
It's hilarious.
was that kind of like love, but
Yeah.
it just was so wonderful to see.
They took good care of each other.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
And I can still hear Grandma saying, Marty.
Yeah. Yes.
Get a sweater.
And they and they
Well-
never went to bed without saying I love you to each other.
Well, I had the unique experience of living close to Daddy and Judy the last few years and getting to know Scott much better. And I just love when Scott talks about Daddy, just how patient he was with them. He's like, he would talk about how horrible he and Eric were when they were little, especially Scott, and just how mean they were to him, and they really challenged his presence in their lives in the beginning. But just how patient Daddy was, and loving and accepting, and how, you know, they grew to love him and respect him, and just, it was just neat to hear that perspective of who Daddy was to them.
I just have a memory just now that, again, about just him being very authentic, and it's actually kind of a dark time when he had his brain bleed, and he ended up at Cooper, and I was working at Campbell Soup, and so I was actually able to visit him during the day, and not too many other people were able to visit him because actually all you guys had little kids at the time,
Well,
and
Judy didn't want anybody to
That's
visit.
that's very true. That's very
yeah,
true.
He needed his rest.
Yeah, and
After,
he did
after
need
he
his
got
rest.
over the rough part.
Yeah. So but he was still in the hospital. And I just remember walking into the hospital room and just how like happy he was and surprised, to see me. He really wasn't able to talk much. He was in pretty bad shape. But just his appreciation for just like, I don't have to say anything. I don't have to do anything. Just being in
Your
in
presence,
proximity to people he loved. You knew that he appreciated it. And even, the last day, being in the hospital, I was astonished when Adam and Amy walked into the hospital room, and how he knew that you guys were there, I have no idea. He did not have his glasses on. He did not have his hearing aid on. He was in such, bad shape. But you could see his face lit up.
Tried to get up.
He
Yeah.
did. He did. And
Yeah.
even when I came in, he knew I wasn't Barbara. Yeah. How is that possible? I don't know. But somehow he just was connected to his family in a very deep way.
Maybe that's why he didn't see well, and maybe that's why he saw, oh, my grandchildren are here. He said.
Yes.
And you kept saying you're representing all the grandkids.
Yes.
Yeah.
He was
And-
very,
and, yeah, my
very
kids were
aware
there.
of it. Very aware.
I have a funny story. So, Ryan likes Tootsie Roll Pops, but he doesn't like the chocolate ones. So, he, for a long time, was buying these gigantic bags of Tootsie Roll Pops. And I just started taking all the chocolate ones and putting him aside, thinking, oh, next time I see Daddy, I'll give them to Daddy, because I know Daddy likes chocolate Tootsie Rolls. By the time we remembered and it came to pass, there had to have been, I don't know, at least 50 chocolate Tootsie Roll Pops in a bag that I said, Dad, do you want these? He was so excited. And we spent a couple days there, and he had a Tootsie Roll Pop in his mouth the whole time. He went through that whole bag. And so, yes, that was all to say. He loved Tootsie Roll Pops, chocolate Tootsie Roll Pops till the end.
I loved our trips to the art museum, and he explained every painting, and now I feel responsible to learn about all these artists and all these paintings, so I can take the grandkids someday to the art museum and know what the heck I'm talking about. and I just want to thank Tony for staying up late every time we went to visit him.
God bless you.
I would kind of like bag out around 9:30, 10 o'clock, and Tony would stay up till midnight and watch those movies with Daddy. And he told you, who was it? Oh gosh, what was the one?
John Wick.
John Wick.
We love John Wick.
Wick. And over again, Marty, I think we saw that one. Oh, you gotta see Marty, I think, okay, we're gonna watch it then. And all his, who's it, Mark, the Marx Brothers and Charlie Chaplin, yeah, you were his late night buddy, so thank you. Thank you very much.
When he liked a movie, he made us girls watch Good Neighbor Sam once. I'll never forget. Come on, girls, we have to watch this movie, Good Neighbor Sam. It was his favorite. So then I decided one day I'm going to make my kids watch One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest because that was one of my favorite movies. I think that's
Oh,
what
it's a
I
good
made them
family
watch.
movie.
I don't remember. What
Oh, I watched it.
was that the one I chose?
Oh, yeah.
That's right. I have other favorites.
I remember
And Bridge over River Kwai.
the first time I met him was at this barbecue, and I remember my very first health check. Gave me a solid handshake, pulled me in, squeezed my side and the back of my arm, and I imagine with the same accuracy that he lettered those logos, he could predict my body fat percentage. That was, he'd always grab me and go, "Oh, Mom." I was like, Amy, he just pinched my side and the back of my arm. I think he was like checking me up, and he was like, "Oh yeah, he does that." Yeah, you get fat.
Yeah, mine
You wouldn't be afraid to tell you.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's why I realized how much weight I
The
gained
first
in
time he was
college.
like, "All right."
It was from them.
Yeah, he was blunt. He was blunt. He could be like, Sherry, are you sick? You're too thin. And then one time, Sherry, you look so healthy.
Yeah, when he said you look healthy, you were fat.
Tavio, is it you that collects marbles? A big thing? Well, I just want to, I bought this, I forget where we were, Cape Cod or somewhere, and I said, oh, this reminds me of Daddy. So I took it to him, and he wrote, I said, could you personalize it? I said, could you personalize it? So he took this, it says, to all my children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren, lots of love, Dad, Grandpop, and Great-Grandpop, August 18th, 2023. And he wrote a little description of him. This is his original jar of marbles, and I'll just read it. Mr. Martin Snader, playing marbles. He said, I learned by watching others and lots of practice as a child of 5 or 6 years old. At home, I would line up tiny toy soldiers, which you'll see up here, in a row, and shoot them down one at a time. When I got older, we played outside in the street. We played on marbles inside a chalk made circle. Then tried to hit them out, and the one who hit the most out was the winner. And by the time I was a teenager, I collected a gallon jar full of marbles. I also received a championship shirt from the city of Philadelphia.
Wow.
So here is, and then here's Daddy. Here's a picture of Daddy with his.
And he never lost his marbles.
So anybody that plays or collects marbles, it was all from Daddy.
You wish it was that easy.
And other games he played as a child are on the From South Philly page. There's Dead Box, there's Buck Bucks. If anybody reads it and decides they want to play any today, let me know. I got chalk, and we've got guys. We've got
You got guys?
Yeah, we got guys that want to play Buck Buck. All right. Oh, it's like a leapfrog game, but there's four guys that have to jump over each other. Oh yeah. Yeah. Does anyone have anything they want to say in closing? Thanks for putting this in.
I think it's interesting to think of my relationship with Grandpa as I'm the youngest grandchild amongst our generation, so I didn't get my memories of hanging out with him are always a bit faded because I'm a bit older, but I do remember the one time I got to hang out with him as a younger adult. He told me the stories of the bathhouse and a lot of my interests and things I found fascinating were a bit different than him. Like, I'm very math and sciencey, and while I appreciate art as well, but he was a very artistic person. And I remember I was sharing with him a lot of the cool robotic stuff I did in high school. And like I just remember him being super just proud and fascinated, even though like he didn't like get to see much of that throughout my youth. But the fact that he knew that I was doing that and him being happy, I think, made it like, and I could just feel that he was proud. And I just remember, I think when I went over Aunt Harriet's house and I just sat with him, I think for an hour, and he just told me stories and stories. And yeah, and I wanted to joke that I think you mom, you get storytelling from Grandpa.
Well, hold on. Nobody reads greeting cards like him.
Sing songy voice,
yes.
yeah.
That was the other thing. He never failed to send a greeting card, a birthday card to everyone. And he would go, I think he went to the store months in advance, and he would buy, I don't know, a dozen or 2 dozen greeting cards for future birthdays. And really cool.
But, and
he
they
was
were
never
all
late
so
with them.
unique. Like
Yeah,
you
they
could
were.
tell he really thought about
Yeah.
what he was sending.
He knew who it was going to and their characteristics,
Yeah.
and you know.
I would cut out and collect his envelopes when you
I have
when
2
you would
of
put
them in a folder up here somewhere with his beautiful handwriting. Yeah. I'm so happy that at his 90th party that we had at Sylvia and Chris's house, that was my favorite party because that's when we made the posters, and I have pictures of him. Like each one of our kids got to spend time with Daddy, hearing his stories, and he was explaining the posters, and I felt like y'all really got to know him at that party, and I was just so happy we had that one.
Well, I just think it's funny that he asked to have a 95th birthday party. And he wanted a party, and he just loved celebrating. He loved any occasion to get together.
And he wanted to come here,
Yeah.
up here
Yes.
in New
And,
Jersey.
and I remember as a child, the parties that they would have in our house, we couldn't sleep. You know, they were so loud. We were upstairs trying to sleep, and he and my mom and their friends, they knew how to have fun. Oh yeah.
I remember he would, like, whenever I had a recital or a video of something, I was always told that he watched, like, the entire thing.
Oh yeah.
And that just makes me happy.
Yeah.
That, like, I think someone actually sent me a picture of him, like,
I did when Rock
Yeah.
2. When
yeah,
you,
when I
you
played
were
with an orchestra, he was like here's the computer, and he was like,
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Oh
kind
yeah.
of funny, but yeah.
Yeah, we turned the volume way up, and oh, he was enthralled.
Yeah.
He was so proud.
So it was nice to know that, like, I made him proud. Even
Oh,
though
yeah.
I didn't really know him as a kid.
Yeah.
Speaking of proud, I'm very proud of all you youngsters. Thank you for coming, being so quiet and respectful and listening, and I hope you learned a lot about a very amazing man.
And you wouldn't be here without him.
Yeah.
That's the truth. So yeah, take some time and look around at the pictures, and if you have any questions, feel free to ask them. We may or may not know the answers, but I would just like to close with a little prayer, if that's okay.
Sure.
Dear God, thank you so much for my dad and for the influence he was on all of our lives, for the things he stood for the love he had for each one of us. And I pray that each one of us will also take that love and share it with our own children and our grandchildren, and that his legacy will live on in all of us. Amen.
Amen.